Can you give me information on takeaways?
Takeaway doses are doses that you don't have to have supervised at the pharmacy or dispensing point. You can take them home and you take them on the day that they're due to be taken.
Takeaway doses are given to a lot of patients once they've become stable on the program. Stable is the key word in this discussion.
Every state has slightly different guidelines about who can have takeaway doses, but essentially you need to be stable to be getting take-home doses. Now, what does stability mean? Stability essentially means that you're not using lots of drugs, particularly heroin, particularly other sedatives like alcohol or benzodiazepines, sleeping pills. Other drug use is important to consider too, so other drugs like amphetamines is another important consideration. Also, in terms of being okay for take-home doses, you need obviously to have somewhere secure and safe to store your take-home dose. You don't want somebody else pinching it, you don't want somebody else taking it. If you've got young kids, that's particularly important because it can be lethal for young kids to have methadone, particularly to take their parents' take-home dose or take somebody's take-home dose.
Well, firstly, methadone is very dangerous to children and young people, and especially infants and toddlers. And there are a couple of, I suppose, rules around takeaways and methadone. Don't take your medication in front of children. Children like to imitate adults to feel grown up, and that, I guess, sets a standard for them if they see you taking your methadone in front of them. Don't put it in containers that they're familiar with, that they think might be used for other things, and so what they might do is then go to that container and accidentally take the methadone.
Methadone should be stored away from the reach of children. We advise patients to store it in a high cupboard, preferably a locked cupboard, or in a safe if they happen to have one of those at home. And they must not store the product in the fridge, by the bedside or under the bed. Children will find these drugs and take them and run the risk of dying. Empty bottles are best washed out so that there is no methadone left within the bottle, and then the labels should be washed off the bottle so that there's no chance that you'll be identified as somebody who's on a methadone program. Those empty bottles can then be disposed of in the usual recycling bins. Some people like to take them back to the dispensing site, and that's quite appropriate, but make them anonymous and make them safe.
If you think for whatever reason your child may have accidentally taken any methadone, don't wait and see if something happens. Call 000, get your child to hospital. Don't be concerned about what people think that you're bringing your child to hospital. What they will think is, here is a concerned parent is worried about their child. Do not delay, phone 000, get your kid to hospital. There are antidotes that can be life-saving for children who have taken methadone. It's when you don't make that phone call and you wait and see that the worst outcomes happen.